Hey guys, and welcome to this Legion Tower Defense 2 video guide. Today's topic will be the Nightmare start, which has been common since early season 1 and is still being played really often. Nightmare itself is the tier 4 unit of the Forsaken Legion. With its base costs of 185 gold, you can buy it in round 1 pretty cheaply. It has 1400 swift HP points and 70 pierce damage. But keep in mind that its attack speed is really fast, so it has a total DPS of 121. Since the Nightmare itself has no ability, we can jump right into the roster and see how it acts in the first 7 waves. Building the Nightmare on wave 1 will leave you 65 gold over. With this gold you can push your first worker. Check out that your Nightmare hopefully stands at one of the both sides, so it will get a nice circle it can run around and clear the units. You will see later how you can achieve that it will run like this. With this Nightmare on wave 1 you're safe for waves 1 and wave 2. While wave 1 is running you can push your 4th worker, then you can stay on these 4 workers at first. You don't need to fear any send of 40 or 20 on waves 1 and 2 because you will hold all of these. The first critical wave will come now, which is wave 3. I will show you again some examples how you can build it. This doesn't mean that these are the only ones that Nightmare can hold with, but these are some of the pretty safe ones, and especially the first one is the most common one. At first I want to show you Nightmare with gargoyles. Therefore you will build 3 gargoyles like shown in the video, so 2 on the Nightmare side and 1 on the same height as a split. With this you can basically clear any 60 cent. You should be able to clear 80 cents as well in most cases. And they will also be pretty safe all the next waves, so the premium edition is Nightmare with gargoyles on waves 1 to 3. You can additionally add some tier 1s if you have spare gold, but to be honest there's no need to do so and you can just push more workers with the rest of the gold. If you don't have gargoyles you can also place some peewees in the same position, but peewees are a bit weaker on this wave because they have less HP and they got no magic damage, so you gotta place more than 3 of them. Of course they're cheaper as well, so you are able to place more of them. Place like 4 or 5. I placed 4 in this video, but to be 100% safe you can also place 5 peewees if you have the gold for this. Another option is placing a honeyflower. This might sound a bit ridiculous since honeyflower is a natural armored unit on a magic wave, but since it will clear pretty much 2/3 of the whole wave's HP, your Nightmare will just get all your last hits and can easily clear the wave, even with the bigger sends like 80 or 100. But it's not always easy to get the honeyflower because it's a bit more expensive than the 3 gargoyles are. Now I will just run 2 more videos in the background, which you can also hold maybe, so I'd say in 80% of the cases you hold with them. They're not that safe and they're also a bit specific in placement and how you will be able to handle and go on with them. Wave 4, if you did build one of the builds I showed, you should be pretty safe. Of course against big sends like a brood or more, you might leak some with some builds. For example, a brood versus the gargoyle build should hold, but if you send a brood versus the PB build, you might leak some units. But overall Nightmare is really strong because of its defense and attack type on wave 4, and to be honest, nobody should send 4 versus a Nightmare if he wants to make him leak big. But then comes already the second critical wave, and this one might be the most critical at all. It is wave 5. That is because Wave 5 deals pierce damage and Nightmare is Swift armored, so it will get a lot of damage by any units of Wave 5 and it will get shredded down pretty fast. What you can do with it? The best option is Butcher. Nightmare Butcher is the ultimate combo you can have with Nightmare, and if you can place it on 5, you just keep have your gold in check so that you can buy a unit for 150 gold and then place it like shown above the Nightmare on the right, and it will have its perfect placement. Depending on how big the sand is, you should now hold. You can pretty much do the same with a Grawl in the same position if you wanna build it up to an Ocean Templar later, which is also a nice buff for the Nightmare. And if you have none of these units but you get a Mudman in your role, you gotta place the gargoyles a bit different, like shown here with a small gap on the third row. And then you can place there your Mudman, which is a pretty nice tank for your Nightmare. And you can guess how big the sand will be that you get, and then you can harden or not harden it, whatever you wish. On wave 6 it is critical. You can shift a bit gold, you can push hard, but if you don't have the Butcher version, you might get punished hard if you don't at least add a few tier 1s. Maybe just add a bit more, like a tier 3 unit around 80 gold. You should be pretty safe then on wave 6. Except, of course, you get a huge send. But for your enemy, the best wave to send next would be wave 7. Therefore, you can upgrade your gargoyles into green devils, for example. Add some more green devils or gargoyles. Add some more tier 1s for some damage and splitting issues. And you can also upgrade, for example, a Bone Warrior if you have them into a Dark Mage, like shown here in the video, because this one will buff the Nightmare and so it deals pretty much damage then. But keep in mind that you need some arcane units to hold off the wave. You can also boost your PVs and veterans if you get some. Here, same thing again, you need some arcane armor against 7 and 8, because a Nightmare won't tank that much there. It can deal good damage, but it won't tank a lot. The ultimate tank for arcane waves or for magic waves is of course Sandbatcher. You can handle it like the Mudman, place it with a small gap. I would recommend to do this at the beginning, the gap, so selling the gargoyle might just lose you a lot of gold. You can also place it in like the third row and stuff like this. This could also be pretty good. Overall, there are really more units you can make your Nightmare hold with. These are like the most common ones and probably the most safe ones in some cases, but you might also have the chance to hold good with canopies, masks or anything else like a bunk. Just remember that the keys are that your Nightmare needs assistance in tanking in the first place because it's a huge damage dealer, so make sure you got some arcane tanks for wave 3 and 7 and some good stuff against wave 5 like magic damage or fortified armor, stuff like this. In the background there's some footage why you should place your Nightmare on one of the sides, because then you can have the ultimate buff with a head chef, 2 Nightmares and later hopefully doppelgangers, and 1 Butcher in the back. Each of these Nightmares will have both buffs, so cannibalism and the leech aura, and will run in perfect circles if you build it like I did in the videos. And keep in mind that the more split you got, the longer your Nightmare got only handle with the half wave. I hope this guide was helpful for you. Have a nice day and keep grinding.